Hello and welcome to Mad About Superheroes Comic Book Spotlight. Today we shine a light on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. To say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a phenomenon in the late 80s, early 90s is to really say the least. The independent comic book created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird spawned a multimedia frenzy. At the top of the heap were the Mirage Studios and Archie Comic Books, the Fred Wolf cartoon series, the Playmates toy line, and the New Line Cinema film franchise.
Yeah! I love being a turtle!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures debuted in 1988 as a 3-part miniseries and was aimed at a younger audience than the Mirage Studios' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book series. It initially adapted episodes from the 1987 animated television series, but after the first 2 issues of the ongoing monthly series, a new creative team transitioned the series into new original storylines. Reporter April O'Neil of Channel 6 News reports a strange string of robberies. 3 scientific companies have been robbed of high-tech equipment, and the strangest part of all is that experts believe the crimes have been perpetrated by ninjas, an ancient band of Japanese warriors. As April O'Neil wraps up her report, her camera crew is anxious to pack up and get out of the bad part of the neighborhood they're reporting from. April wants to stick around and investigate, but she's soon accosted by some of the thugs working for the very criminals she's investigating. Her camera crew apparently don't believe in chivalry and hightail it out of there. The thugs threaten April. "The boss man wants you to stick to reporting fashion shows." April agrees, but her assailants don't believe her, and she takes evasive action. April runs away and slips down a sewer gutter. The thugs pursue her. On the run, April thinks she must really be onto something hot if they're trying to kill her. April looks back and notices her pursuers are gaining on her, and she runs into a brick wall. Sign off time, April O'Neil. April went to a shady part of the city with dreams of a story, but even her wildest dreams couldn't prepare her for what awaits her in these subterranean dwellings. Her rescuers emerge from the shadows and reveal themselves.
I don't know who you are, but thanks. You're not human.
Bingo. Yeah, we're dealing with a real mind here.
You're turtles.
Yep, so we are.
I can't handle this.
She faints at the sight of her strange saviors. Unbeknownst to them, they are being watched. April awakes in strange surroundings. Things get even stranger when she's offered a cup of hot tea by a giant rat. He assures her that she's safe. Among friends, April asks for an explanation as to who they are. As they enjoy some pizza, April's hosts oblige her request. The story begins in Japan, with a ninja clan known as the Foot. Hamata Yoshi was their teacher in the warrior way of enlightenment, but one student sought to usurp his leadership. His name was Oroku Saki. One day, when a master teacher visited the Foot school, Saki made his move. He framed Yoshi, and he was banished from the Foot forever. In Japan, under Saki's leadership, the Foot became an army of crime. In disgrace, Yoshi fled to America and was forced to live in the sewers. His only friends were the rats, until one fateful day, some new friends came down the drain. Then one day, Yoshi found the turtles in a strange glowing liquid. It was a powerful mutagen. It caused whoever touched it to take on the form of whatever animal it had most recently been in contact with. The turtles began to become human. They had most recently been in contact with Yoshi, but Yoshi had most recently been in contact with the rats. He trained the turtles in the art of ninjutsu. The turtles named Yoshi Splinter, and in turn, he named them after his favorite Renaissance painters.
Donatello, whose simple wooden bull can disarm any adversary. Raphael, no sword on earth can withstand his side. Leonardo, his swordsmanship is unmatched. Michelangelo, master of the whirling nunchakus.
And master of the whirling pizzas.
And that is how they became the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The turtles hope to one day find out who's responsible for the mutagen and force them to revert Splinter back to his human form. Because the crimes she's investigating were committed by ninjas, April accuses the turtles of the robberies and makes a run for it. Though the turtles convince her otherwise, she's driven by her desire to deliver a big story, and the existence of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one heck of a story. Donatello appeals to April's humanity. You put us on TV and every scientist in town will be after us. They come to an agreement to help April get her story on the real ninjas behind the robberies if she leaves them out of the story. Meanwhile, April's assailants report back to their leader, the evil Shredder, and he is most displeased with their lack of performance. Back in the sewers, the turtles find a clue where April was attacked earlier. The book of matches may lead them to the ninjas they seek, and much to their delight, it will definitely lead them to some pizza. They hit the streets above and try to conceal themselves. April supplies them with some clothes to help them blend in. They arrive at Ninja Pizza, and while the turtles dine, April goes off on her own and begins snooping. She gets lucky and tries to report her findings to her boss at Channel 6, but she's captured by 2 foot ninjas. The turtles soon realize April is missing and go looking for her. They find the trail of her belongings, which leads them to the top of a tall building. They find April all tied up. Leo, it could be a trap. Yep, it's a trap. Lose the coats, guys, it's go time. The turtles quickly realize the foot ninjas they face are robot foot ninjas, and they cut loose.
Robots? Let's rock!
The turtles free April and go after the foot ninjas that slipped away. They end up inside a building with extraordinary technological advances, under the surveillance of the Shredder, who doesn't want the turtles to find the whereabouts of his technodrome. April and the turtles race down the stairs to confront the foot ninjas. The foot flood the building with water. With the water rising fast and furious, they have to get to the roof. They make their way to the rooftop and use a rope to scale down the side of another building and escape the tidal wave of water exploding from the rooftop. Back in the sewers, Splinter ascertains if the foot are involved, his old enemy Orokusaki must be nearby. The turtles break for some pizza before heading out again to find the technodrome and help April get her story. They discover some giant tire tracks underground. Not too far away, inside the technodrome, Krang beckons Shredder to report to him at once. The disembodied brain from Dimension X has provided the Shredder with vast technical knowledge in exchange for providing him with a new body, and he has not to date held up his end of the bargain. It's also revealed that the Shredder tried to destroy Splinter with the mutagen, but instead granted him the powers of the rats and created the Ninja Turtles. Shredder is thus inspired to create his own man and animal hybrids. April and the turtles split up, while she goes back to Channel 6 to pursue possible new leads on the whereabouts of the technodrome. Splinter and the turtles follow the giant tracks underground. They come to a dead end due to a recent cave-in. While Splinter tries to dig through, the turtles go topside to see if they can find a way around. Meanwhile, Shredder is working on bringing his latest idea to fruition, with a little help from a warthog and a rhino. The turtles emerge from the sewers in the middle of rush hour traffic. They soon meet up with April. She's received a hot tip on 2 animals stolen from the Central Park Zoo, and they decide to go check it out. Far below the city streets, Splinter finally makes a breakthrough, and at last locates the technodrome. But he's quickly caught in the tentacles of one of Shredder's robot servants, and hoisted inside the technological monstrosity. At the zoo, the turtles find a big hole in the ground, and they fall into it and onto the technodrome. They find Splinter's walking stick on the ground, and fear he's in trouble. The Shredder confirms their fears and lures them inside the technodrome to put their skills to the test against his most deadly robotic creations.
Splinter the rat taught them each the ninja arts. Donatello, master of the staff. Leonardo, the katana blade.
My God!
Raphael, the
Don't
sleeve.
throw this at home, kids!
And Michelangelo, the nunchakus.
Radical!
And master of the willing pizza.
Hey, who had the pepperoni and ice cream? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
From Playmates.
The death machines lumber towards the turtles, and they do what Master Splinter trained them to do. They each choose a target and strategically dismantle the metal monsters. As they prepare to find Master Splinter, Donatello picks up a power pack from the robotic debris that he thinks may be useful. Suddenly, the door ahead slams shut, and they are forced in another direction by a giant metal rolling cylinder speeding towards them. The Shredder watches and is amused by his part in the Turtles' deadly predicament. Donatello makes quick use of the power pack he acquired. He magnetizes it to a metal panel on the wall, and with the aid of Leonardo's throwing star skills, the power pack explodes, making a hole in the wall big enough for the Turtles to escape through. In the next room, they find Splinter, subdued and dangling from the ceiling.
Splinter! I'll cut you down, Master!
I must congratulate you.
It's the same guys we fought last night.
You passed your test with flying colors.
Test? What test?
Your hairy little friend knows me as Oroku Saki. But you may call me the Shredder.
A kitchen utensil?
You would be wise to lose your flippant ways if you wish to join the Honorable Foot Clan.
Why should we want to do that?
Because it was I who made you what you are today.
The Shredder calls upon his own mutant creations, Bebop and Rocksteady, to destroy the Turtles. Their two new, very large adversaries charge at them from both sides. The Turtles coordinate and leap out of harm's way, causing Bebop and Rocksteady to collide with each other. With the two of them down for the count, the Shredder orders his Footbots to attack. The Turtles quickly dispatch them and rescue Master Splinter. They're soon topside and back at the zoo, and Bebop and Rocksteady appear to have gotten a second wind. The mutant duo are armed and dangerous. The Turtles take cover. Leo takes on Rocksteady, and Raph takes on Bebop. The Turtles use teamwork to trick them into one of the zoo's cages. With their adversaries behind bars, the Turtles rush back to the sewers to get their master home. With Splinter home resting comfortably, the Turtles regroup and plan to go after the Shredder and the Technodrome. Meanwhile, the Shredder plans to exploit the work of scientist Baxter Stockman's newest invention, his robot Mousers. And Krang continues to berate Shredder over his lack of a new body, while Shredder works on mass-producing Stockman's Mousers, which Shredder intends to use to destroy his former teacher. While Splinter is about to meditate, the Mousers chomp through the wall and attack Splinter. He puts up a good fight, but is about to be outnumbered. But just in the nick of time, the Turtles arrive to even the odds. A short time later, they discover who's responsible for the Mousers. Baxter Stockman's inventions? I don't know, but I can practically smell Shredder behind this. The Shredder is furious by yet another defeat. They beat 12 of my robots, but they'll never be able to beat 1,200. The Turtles show up at April's apartment to get her help to track down Baxter Stockman, believing he'll lead them to the Shredder. Their instincts prove to be spot on. Stockman informs the Turtles of the Shredder's whereabouts and his possession of hundreds of Mousers. The Turtles commandeer a vehicle and race back to April's apartment, fearing the Shredder will send a legion of Mousers after her and Splinter. Once again, the Turtles' fears are valid. April and Splinter defend themselves against hordes of Mousers chomping at their ankles. Mind if we join the fun? By the time the Turtles arrive on the scene, the whole building is shaking apart. They make a quick getaway, and then make their way over to the abandoned mansion the Shredder has been hiding out in. They need to sneak inside and knock out the master control to the Mousers. Don't you think one turtle would have a better chance of getting in there? Okay, good luck, Mike. Don't forget to write. But immediately after entering the mansion, Michelangelo is captured, and the Shredder is alerted to the presence of the Turtles. Outside, April and the Turtles are being surrounded by Mousers, while Michelangelo receives help from a most unlikely ally. Krang tells him of where the master controls are, and Mikey confronts the Shredder. He draws the Shredder's laser blast towards the master control. Shredder takes the bait and destroys the master control and disables the Mousers. The Turtles may have stopped the Mousers, but the Shredder and the Technodrome have eluded them once again. Michelangelo fills the others in on his encounter with Krang.
You know what I saw in that old house? It was this humongous brain! And it had a mouth and eyes, and it talked to me!
A talking brain, huh?
Yeah! Weird, huh?
Michelangelo, I do believe you finally had one pizza too many.
Donatello then comes up with a plan to turn their newly acquired van into a tracking station, using equipment Baxter Stockman left behind, and track down the Technodrome. Meanwhile, deep under the city, Krang is displeased with the Shredder's obsession with defeating Splinter and the Turtles, and his lack of interest in providing him with a new body. Krang wants to bring his Stone Warriors to Earth from Dimension X and overrun the planet, but he's too vain and believes he needs a body before he can be seen by his army. The Shredder is once again inspired by Krang, this time to open a portal to Dimension X against Krang's wishes and acquire the weapons he needs to destroy the Turtles. Soon Hamata-Yoshi and his accursed turtles will die, ha 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 ha! Meanwhile, the Turtles have successfully tricked out their ride into a full-fledged turtle van. All those gadgets and no pizza oven? The Turtles rejoice and put their new technological advancements to work on finding the Shredder and the Technodrome. With April behind the wheel, she puts the pedal to the metal, and they're on their way. In a moment, the gateway between Earth and Dimension X will be opened, and my destiny will be fulfilled. The Shredder orders the portal to open, and most unexpectedly, hot-rodding rebel teenagers from Dimension X come speeding through. They are pursued by Krang's Stone Warriors.
Fresh from the sewer, and into your Nintendo Entertainment System comes Ultra's version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now you can take control of these heroes in a half shell as they nunchuck, swim, and bazooka blast their way through sewers and streets, ridding the world of rival robots, wretched ruffians, and the evil Foot Clan forever. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're out of the sewers and available where Ultra games are sold.
The Stone Warriors crash their craft into the Technodrome wall. They are not injured, but Bebop and Rocksteady open fire on them, while the other two vehicles from Dimension X burst out of the Technodrome. The Shredder gets between the Stone Warriors and his two mutant cohorts and diffuses the situation. The Turtles manage to track down the Technodrome, and they arrive just in time to witness the hot-rodding teens racing out from underground. April and the Turtles decide to pursue the high-flying teens. Meanwhile, the Stone Warriors are brought before their Lord Krang. The hot-rodding teens are called Neutrinos, and they are enemies of Krang and Dimension X for encouraging people to have fun. The Neutrinos' joyride has the Turtles in hot pursuit. They put the Turtle Van's gadgets to good use. They are catapulted aboard the Neutrinos' vehicles and force them to land. The Turtles assume the Neutrinos are working with the Shredder, but the rebellious teens set them straight, and they quickly realize they're on the same side. They take a break at Clown Time Food and Games, and just when the Turtles and the Neutrinos start to get to know each other, a tank blows a hole in the side of the wall of the arcade. It's the Stone Warriors. While the Neutrinos take evasive action, the Turtles return fire, before they hightail it back to the sewers to consult with Master Splinter. The Stone Warriors deploy a weather grenade in retaliation. April and the Turtles put two and two together and figure if Shredder is working with Krang and has access to Dimension X, that must be where he's getting all his advanced technology from. They also deduce that if Krang has hordes of Stone Warriors in Dimension X, he must be planning to bring them to Earth and take over the planet. Somehow, they have to stop him. Outside, they realize it's snowing in June. The Neutrinos inform the Turtles that it must be one of the Stone Warriors' weather makers, and that the weather conditions will get a lot worse. They head out and make their way to the Technodrome. Later, inside the Technodrome, Leo and Donnie try to gain control of the portal to Dimension X, while the others act as a distraction. They taunt Krang and draw the Stone Warriors' laser fire. It's not long before Krang realizes what they're doing and sends his Stone Warriors after Leonardo and Donatello. Luckily, they've already achieved their goal and opened the portal. The Stone Warriors charge at the Turtles, and they use the Stone Warriors' momentum against them and throw them into the portal back to Dimension X. The portal won't stay open for much longer. This is the Neutrinos' last chance to go home, and they take it. The Turtles then locate the Weathermaker, and just before it tears the city apart, Leo destroys it with one divisive swipe of his katana. Way to go, Leo! Alright, Krang, I'll complete your new body, if that's what it takes to destroy the Turtles once and for all! Sometime later, back in the sewer, Splinter and the Turtles prepare themselves for their final battle with the Shredder. Suddenly, they're interrupted by a loud screeching noise coming from their TV. Hey, since when did the Shredder get his own daytime talk show? Shredder has interrupted their regularly scheduled program to demonstrate his retro mutagen gun, a device that undoes mutations. It's the only thing that can revert Splinter back to his human form. If you want it, come and get it! Though the retro mutagen gun can turn Splinter back to his human form, it can also revert the Ninja Turtles back to regular turtles. And for that reason, Splinter opts to go up against Shredder alone. Back at the Technodrome, Shredder prepares for the arrival of his enemies. On their way to the Technodrome, Donatello remembers something at Baxter Stockman's lab that will help them, and runs off to acquire it. Suddenly, Splinter and the Turtles are attacked by Bebop and Rocksteady. "We got a score to settle with you green freaks, starting now!" The Turtles once again outsmart and stop the two brutes, with a little help from a cement truck. Back at the Technodrome, at long last the construction of Krang's body is complete. He adds a molecule amplifier circuit to it. Shredder places Krang inside the body, and like Dr. Frankenstein's monster,
It's alive! It's alive!
the Turtles and Splinter arrive and climb up a rope towards a hole in the Technodrome. But the rope is cut in half by footbots, and the Turtles are separated from Splinter. The Turtles fall to the ground, but Splinter makes it inside the Technodrome. "Good luck, my sons." While the Turtles battle the Foot, Donatello is hard at work back at Stockman's lab. Leonardo ends the fight with the Footbots by slicing through a pipe and drowning them in a flood of raw sewage. Inside the Technodrome, a disoriented Krang awakes inside his new body. At last, he's whole again and ready to conquer the Earth. Not too far away, Splinter roams the halls of the Technodrome until he comes across the retro mutagen gun. Or so it seems. "Not so fast, Hamata Yoshi!" Splinter is faced by his former student, and he remains as arrogant as ever. The retro mutagen gun was a mere illusion, and Shredder continues his mad charade. Splinter remains vigilant until one of his powerful kicks lands upon the true Shredder. Meanwhile, Krang contacts his Stone Warriors in Dimension X. He's prepared to open the portal and bring his army to Earth and take over the planet, but he'll have to go through the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first. And in his new body, Krang is prepared to do just that. As he approaches the Turtles, he begins to grow, bigger and bigger. He climbs up to the city streets. Back at Baxter's lab, Donatello utilizes quite a few tanks of helium to inflate his latest creation. Far below the city, in the Technodrome, Shredder and Splinter continue their fight. While the Turtles try not to get stomped on by Krang, Donatello arrives in his turtle blimp. After picking up the others, the quartet separate from the helium-filled balloon and take off in their turtle glider. Leonardo and Donatello leap off and onto the shoulder of Krang's robot body. April arrives in the turtle van and begins filming the newsworthy event. Inside Krang's robot body, Leo and Donnie try to find a way to disable the giant from within, while Michelangelo and Raphael try to take him down from the outside. "You have corrupted my teachings and brought dishonor upon the once noble Foot Clan. Now you will pay for your crimes." Krang's robot body manages to catch the turtle glider, but just as he's about to crush them, Donatello locates the molecule amplifier circuit and disables it. Leo and Donnie exit Krang's body as he begins to rapidly shrink, and Krang loses his grip on the turtle glider. They swoop in and pick up Leo and Donnie. Krang summons Shredder to help his little predicament, and he abruptly ends his battle with Splinter in a most dishonorable fashion. The Shredder and his retro mutagen gun in hand bid the Turtles farewell, but Splinter has made a miraculous recovery and uses his walking stick to destroy Shredder's retro mutagen gun. But without it, he will never be human again.
Ah, well, perhaps it is my karma to live my life as a rat.
A short time later, the Turtles successfully shut down the portal to Dimension X, and the Technodrome suddenly disappears. Donatello reversed the portal's flow, and the Technodrome was sucked into Dimension X.
Oh, rock dudes! We did it! We won!
Back in the sewers, Splinter and the Turtles watch April on Channel 6 News while they relax and enjoy their victory.
But who are they? Where did they come from? It's a complete mystery. But I'll continue to update the exploits of these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. April O'Neil, Happy Hour News.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure 3-issue limited series was written and penciled by Michael Dooney, based on the teleplay by David Weiss and Patty Howarth. Dooney had a long tenure with TMNT Adventures, and was also an artist on the Mirage Studios' TMNT Comics. In the Turtle Power documentary, Dooney recalled not having any reference or storyboards for the cartoon series and having to draw the TMNT Adventures limited series while he watched it on his TV. As mentioned, the black and white Mirage Studios Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics were much more violent and gritty in tone than the more light-hearted and kid-friendly approach of the cartoon series. The TMNT Adventures limited series has some differences from the cartoon miniseries it's based on, but retains the humor as well as the essential plot points and overall storyline. The Archie Comics adaptation also includes the additions made in the cartoon series, such as the Turtles' different color headbands, monogram belt buckles, April's profession as a reporter, and the Turtles' love of pizza. All things that were not featured in the original Mirage Studios comic books, but became synonymous with the brand. And let's not forget the most popular addition to Turtles lore. My first encounter with TMNT was issue 5 of the Mirage Studios comics. By the time the cartoon series aired, I was already a casual fan, but the cartoon and the toy line turned me into a huge Turtles fan. When the Archie Comics series, based on the cartoon, hit comic stands in the late 80s, I was more than happy to collect the series. As a fan of 80s TMNT, the 3-issue Archie Limited series remains a cherished piece in both my comic book and TMNT collection. I hope you've enjoyed this comic book spotlight on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. Thanks for letting your geek flag fly with Mad About Superheroes.